We're live.
Coming up in this video, perfectionism and anxiety, overcoming imposter syndrome. We're also going to be talking a little bit about procrastination, like putting stuff off. If you're new, consider subscribing, click that bell, and you will be good to go.
That's fabulous. Okay, but before we get into the good stuff, I want to talk a little bit about the age of purpose. We are entering an age of purpose. And I think more and more people are searching for their purpose, or it seems like it.
Yeah, we got purposeful work, purposeful relationships. Inquiring minds want to know, what is my purpose?
So you guys know how I love studies. There was a study done showing that there are 50% more people searching for purpose in life in the Google machine over the last 4 years than ever before.
And that's important because in order to get to your purpose, you have to stop feeling like a fraud and start feeling confident. And that's what we're covering today.
That is what we're covering today. As you guys come on, let us know that you can hear us and see us. I see some Facebook tribe. I see some YouTube tribe coming on. Hi, Nancy. Hello, Julie.
And as you come on, let us know where you're from and what your favorite food is. Because we like food, and you'll get bonus points for the most interesting food choice. What is up, Debbie? What is up, Ashley? Thank you guys for joining us. We want to know your food. So let us know your food.
This is that time you put your favorite food and where you're from. But stay with us, guys, while you're thinking about that for the whole video.
Yes.
And we're going to help you guys understand what imposter syndrome is, as we've been doing it in our series. This is number 4, number 3.
This is number awesome.
Yeah. And how perfectionism and anxiety are close cousins with the imposter. And that's what today's episode is about.
And while that's going to be entertaining,
because David's here.
The real reason, absolutely, it's always entertaining. The real reason you should stick around is because of the mind-blowing resource that we're going to be sharing to take your confidence from basic to badass in 90 seconds, but only if it fits for you. We're going to get to that at the end. So stick around for that.
You know how we like those mind hack shortcuts.
Sushi.
What's up, Chelsea? What's up, Michelle from Reno? My favorite food is homemade spaghetti. Learned from my grandmother. Yes, that is the best.
Ashley King, of course, says sushi, which to me says that there's probably going to be a sushi date in the future.
Nancy, pistachio nuts. I am allergic to them, and I love them.
And Casey says, Casey or Casey, I don't know. It's kind of like Daisy with a K. She says, hola guys, favorite food is tostones and salami. I don't know if that's tostones, tostadas. I don't know.
Clarify.
I don't know what that is. I'm going to have to look it up after this.
So guys, for those of you that are just meeting us, or forgot who we were, I'm Heather.
And I'm David.
From Zen Rose Garden.
Yes. Helping people create
badass lives. Wow. Since
she's the lady, I'll let her go.
Yeah, since 2008, we've helped thousands of clients since maybe just meeting us, from being overwhelmed, stressed out, and insecure to confident, purposeful, and empowered.
And if you've just found us, congratulations. You've just found the secret weapon to your badass life. We are absolutely so modest.
He's so modest. He's half Capricorn, so
I probably think this song is about me.
Probably thinks all songs are about
all me. Songs are about me.
Capricorns and Tauruses. So, pardon me if all the Tauruses out there. So stick with us and watch as your insecurities and fears run the hills, never to bother you again. At least we hope. If not, call us and we will hunt them down and kill them.
Yes.
Unless
with you.
Your ex-husband. That's not our responsibility.
No. So Shujin says, I'm from Arizona. My favorite food of all time, a roast beef and cheddar with curly fries and a strawberry Jamocha shake.
Hello.
I'm an Arby's baby.
That sounds amazing.
I dig, still to this day, I dig Arby's. It's one of my hidden desires that I never do. It's not so hidden. I mean,
it's called a guilty pleasure.
Yeah, that's the one. That's that word. So through our work with over 2,000 clients all over the world since 2008, we noticed that there was a huge, massive, big mungus, I can't even get it.
Bigger in a thigh gap in what was being taught by a lot of influencers in our niche that seemed to be doing the same thing everybody else was doing.
But we are not trying to be the next cookie cutter gurus.
Right. So
I like cookies, just not that much. Anyway.
I got nothing. So what we noticed was that some people taught all the cool intuitive techniques without the foundation of self-growth to stabilize it.
And others taught self-growth without having a clue of what to do when people started opening up their intuitive skills.
But both groups have a ceiling that lacks integration. And I know as I was opening up my gifts and learning about my self-growth and personal development, that was really an important step for me.
Absolutely.
And so in our work, we chose to bridge that gap for our clients. And if you stay to the end, we will show you how you can reap
the rewards of our hard work.
All right. So now that you guys know who we are, we want to know how we can help you.
Let us know your greatest challenge in the comments, the biggest thing that you're working through in life. And I'm going to go back and I'm going to drop a free resource that will help you with that challenge. I don't care what part of your life is the most challenging for you. Drop it in the comments and I will go back and I will give you a free resource. If we don't have one yet, we will make one.
So guys, if you have any questions, as always, as we go, drop them in the comments. If we don't get to them live, we will answer them on the replay because you guys inform us about what you want to hear from us. And that's where we get our ideas from.
If you are watching live, give us a hashtag live tribe.
If you're watching the replay, give us a hashtag replay fam. And now it is time for the good stuff. Let us get into it.
Good stuff. Who do you think you are?
This is the David music moment. So perfectionism.
There might be a few of them. I'm not going to lie. There might be a few throughout this whole thing as we go.
So perfectionism and anxiety. Do you find yourself struggling? And I want you to raise your hand with a crippling anxiety, making sure everything is perfect before you share anything. I know I've been guilty of this one in spades in my past, even like posting something on social media. I'm like, oh, I got to edit it. I wrote that wrong. Oop, you know what I mean?
Have you ever put things off because they weren't done to your level of perfect yet?
So have you ever spun out and stayed late to do the absolute best job you can possibly do, even when it started to take a toll on you?
So we're going to break down what imposter syndrome is, as well as how perfectionism, anxiety, and procrastination are those close cousins to the imposter. And if you stay to the end, we've got some really good news for you.
So here we go.
Here we go. Let's get into it.
Yep. Okay, so number one.
First of all,
number one. We got four kind of things to talk to you about. Number one, it's about social anxiety. A lot of people who suffer from imposter syndrome suffer from social anxiety. So social anxiety and the I don't belong here fear.
Yep. So how does social anxiety relate to imposter syndrome?
So it might be kind of this endless fear that you will never find your pack or your tribe or your people. And sometimes, we do go through periods of life where we're looking for people that resonate with us, but sometimes it can be an excuse, kind of a sort of preemptive strike to stop rejection before it even starts.
Absolutely.
And this is more closely attuned to social anxiety. We make up excuses about why we can't be with people.
Right. So a person with social anxiety disorder may feel as though they don't belong in social situations. And this can apply to performance anxiety or simply any kind of a one-on-one conversation as well.
So a simple conversation might make you spin out mentally and you feel like the person you were talking with is going to suddenly discover your social incompetence.
Absolutely. So you might actually feel really exposed and not be able to really enjoy the conversation.
So you may only enjoy conversations that are easy with people who really know you instead of being curious about other people and enjoying more conversations.
The problem with that is you don't really get to know new people if you're afraid of social people. How are you going to get to know new people if you don't get out anywhere?
So sometimes I even see people in the spiritual community sort of making an excuse, like I can't go out and feel all these different energies because it freaks me out. Yeah. And I'm like, are you really feeling all these different energies and it destroys you, or do you just have social anxiety? So stop and think about that. I know I've used that excuse before when really I took a look and I'm like, I'm just anxious that, I'm a little bit nervous and I feel awkward. Yeah. So
when you work on those root issues underneath that fear of going out in public or being out in crowds or engaging socially at all, then you start to break that down and start to kind of open up your ability to do more than you thought you could.
So I think we'll do another video, not on this one, but I think we should do a video on, are you an empath that can't leave the house, or do you really have social anxiety?
Do you have magic gifts, or are you socially awkward?
Because I know that I, for one, might have used
Magic-
that as an excuse to
Right.
not go out before.
Magic gifts that debilitate you.
Yeah,
Okay.
we don't want that. Magic gifts are not supposed to debilitate you.
No.
So let's go on. You might be giving a presentation, for instance, in front of people, and be ready to finish as soon as you start. Like, okay, I just started. I want to get through this as quickly as possible before anybody realizes that you don't know what you're talking about.
And you might feel really exposed and maybe afraid that you won't be asked to come back if you screw up. All of this can lead to a feeling of being isolated, being different, and really having to protect yourself and put on all these masks and all these protections so that people don't find out who you are. So the reality is, when people find out who you are, the right people like you anyway.
So it's kind of a slippery slope, and I know that we kind of can create stories.
So is ice.
So let me start again. It's kind of a slippery slope if we spin into the story of, the things that we're creating around our anxiety.
Empath,
right. So just, for me, I know I've fallen into that trap.
Yep.
So I'm going to full confession and
Yep.
put myself out there that I've fallen into that trap before.
Yep.
So number 2, perfectionism, the imposter's cousin.
Perfectionism plays a huge role when it comes to imposter syndrome. The fear beneath this is definitely a judgment, but it's also a fear of rejection. If I do well enough, then I'll be praised, not be judged or made fun of, but I must be perfect for others to approve of me.
Yeah, this one's tricky. So here are some examples. You might try to pre-memorize a script for conversations if that makes you nervous, so you can't say the wrong thing.
And you may have trouble asking for help because you're afraid of being turned down.
You might even put off making an important phone call until the right time. You might even try to cover up that insecurity by like, it's not the right time, I'm just waiting for the right time. Maybe create some sort of story around it. I know I've done that because I've had this kind of anxiety myself.
So the pro tip here is don't make it about you, make it about other people. If you see someone who seems awkward or alone, take up the challenge, maybe bring them out of their shell. You may realize that you are not the only one who feels awkward, and you'll start to build confidence over time by helping somebody else to build confidence over time.
So here's the thing. I mean, people ask me this question all the time because if a lot of you that know me, I was a professional musician and singer in Las Vegas for 20 years. And you would think that I wouldn't experience this, but I did. But it was a lot safer for me to be on the stage where I didn't have to be in the audience interacting one-on-one with people.
Mm-hmm.
And so for me, this was kind of a huge thing to build my confidence because I felt more in control. I'm on stage, I'm calling the shots, I have like things I say to the audience at certain times. So to be honest, I was more comfortable on stage than actually, I had audience fright. So I was more nervous being in the audience talking to people than I was being on stage with my set of things I had to do.
Right.
As weird as that sounds.
Buffer zone of the stage itself.
Yeah, as weird as that sounds, it's a thing. So another thing is, then this one also helped me kind of break my imposter syndrome, is noticing things that other people would say that you yourself would consider stupid if you said them yourself. Mm-hmm. So chances are when the other person said the same thing, you might have beat yourself up about, you didn't even notice that they said it.
Yep.
So I think we're so hard on ourselves sometimes by stupid things we say when the other person really didn't even notice it. And then we would give them, way longer rope than we give ourselves.
Yeah, because here's the thing. David says stupid things all the time.
Yes.
David doesn't give a shit anymore. David used to. And David sometimes also talks in third person.
Yeah, so that's another topic for another time. So
now we're going to talk about procrastination.
Okay, so what about procrastination and how does that have to do with imposter syndrome? I'll say procrastination is a fear that our work will not be good enough when we finally get around to doing it.
And this is the perfect dance partner to perfectionism. Yes. And the big fear has got to be rejection. This is rejection here. You're afraid of getting rejected if you do anything and it's somehow not good enough. So you're just not going to do anything at all.
So procrastination is the main tool of the wantrepreneur. Do you guys love that term? I wish I made up that term, but I did not make up that term, but I love it. I read it in an article and I would love to plagiarize it, but that's not who I am. A wantrepreneur. This is a person who's always talking about the big projects and the big ideas they have that they're working on, but they never actually get started.
This you'll see a lot in LA with people who are writing their book or writing their screenplay. They haven't started.
Yeah. So then it's a very safe place to be, is what I'm saying. It's safe. Yeah. It's like an imaginary life you are presenting to others.
And it makes you feel good on the inside to tell people about all of these ideas and dreams that you have, but it doesn't mean shit unless you're doing something about it.
So you have all the big ideas, and if you talk about it, it's almost as good as actually doing it. I will say it again, entrepreneurs.
So
I know those people. You've met those people, right? Have you been one of those people?
Yes, it is. And here's a story that comes to mind with that is that if you want to build a sandwich shop, start making sandwiches. Okay, you're never going to get good at your craft. You're never going to get good at anything if you're not doing anything towards your goal. So create something with your goal every day. So it's scary at first to put yourself out there and to risk this fear of being judged, to risk this judgment, because you might actually get judged.
Let's be honest there. Let me be honest. Someone will always be there to judge you. Someone will always be there to judge you. And
here's the key. Anybody who is judging you is judging themselves.
Okay, that's a nice thing to say, but really, let's flip it on its head. No, okay. That's true, but we can hear that all the time.
Yeah.
Right. That's the thing we always say in self-help. But let's talk about this and let's flip it around. So somebody's always going to be there to judge you, no matter what you do. I don't care what it is, and they're going to think your project is stupid and it sucks. There will always be that person. But let's flip it around and kind of burst that bubble. Even if your project is stupid, let's say it wasn't your greatest work, somebody is going to still love it. Okay. You will have no idea why. I mean, I've done some things in the past that were like kind of mediocre work. And I know it, looking back, I'm like, that wasn't that great. But somebody's like, oh my gosh, it was the greatest thing and it changed my life. And I'm like, why? And
that was my failure.
Not coming from imposter syndrome, but coming from like a very objective view of whatever work it was. Like, but it's all relative. One man's masterpiece is another man's doodle art or toilet paper. So it's really, you got to do
duty art.
You got to do whatever you create. Here's the key, guys. And I learned a long time ago, what you create is not you. It's not your character. No. It's just what you're creating in the moment.
It is a snapshot of your experience, your perspective, your perception of the world in the moment. And that's it. At the end of the day, you convince yourself that you're going to feel terrible when you finish your project.
So you never get started.
Right. So the what if nobody likes it mind screw that sends you right back to your comfort zone of maybe I just shouldn't even do it at all. And Mary Lynn says, the thing is, the people that judge aren't the successful ones. The person that criticizes your project, where is their project?
Exactly. I see all you in the museum going, look at that Jackson Pollock piece. My 5-year-old could do that, right? And I'm like, for me, having studied art, I see this complexity of paint on paint and paint on paint on paint. And I'm like, let's take some time to do it. And I'll like a couple fifths of whiskey. So there you go. So anyway, guys, I want to check in with you.
We've got some abracadabra magic to crush imposter syndrome. And if you stay to the end, we'll show you how to get on the list for a free webinar that we're doing to reveal the secret weapon to crush imposter syndrome. So that's going to be at the end.
How are you guys doing so far? You guys understanding everything? Remember, I'm going to remind you to put your questions in the comments. So is everything making sense? You guys can still hear us and see us, because
let us know that you can still hear us and see us with your ears and your eyes.
Or whatever organ you hear and see with, for all of you mystical people.
Yeah. All right. Now we're going to get into number 4, which is depression and imposter syndrome.
Okay. So we have 3 ways that we respond to fear, and imposter syndrome is a fear, right? Imposter syndrome brings all kinds of fears up, and it is a fear.
Brings all the fears to the yard.
That's right. So fight, or play dead.
And sometimes
fight.
That's an Irish thing.
Fight, flight, or play dead. Okay.
Wow.
So
lion, eagle, or possum.
Obviously, my L's are not working today. So some types of depression can be like playing dead. Like there's no way out, so I'm just going to play dead.
I'm just not going to feel anything in life at all, because why bother? Depression may also come after we fall down the rabbit hole from this spin out when we ask, what if it doesn't work? And they're all gonna laugh at you. And oh yeah, it was my one shot. And down in that dark chasm of helplessness and shame. You might be thinking, if it does not work, your character's forever going to be tarnished. And so you're going to walk away. You're going to go back to your job at the juice bar. You're gonna go back to the Orange Julius.
Wow, dramatic today. David is dramatic. Yeah. Okay. So that was
20 years of drama.
That was an awesome monologue. So, we aren't life coaches anymore. Look for David in the Las Vegas little theaters. So anyway, the pressure.
There's something good about little theaters.
I know. I'm not bagging on it. I love little theater. So little black box theaters.
Yep.
So the pressure basically is too great that we put on ourselves. That if we don't do the best on the first try, which is impossible, by the way.
You will never do the best job you can do on your first try ever.
So because we don't believe we're going to do the best on the first try, and it's true, we're not going to. It's impossible. We will forever be now a social pariah. So it goes right back to social. Not a social piranha, but if you want to, that's fine with me too. We're about bringing out your authentic self. So you will forever be a social pariah, which takes you right back to number one, social anxiety and imposter syndrome. Yep. So you're in this loop of down the drain.
Never going to get out. If we don't even try, we can easily walk away and make all kinds of excuses and stories about, this reason or that reason or this justification.
Or my idea was way ahead of its time and they weren't ready for me yet. So it's
Ain't nobody ready.
No one's ready for David. No.
I'm not even ready for me.
I'm not. Every day I wake up. Not after 2 cups of coffee, we're getting there. So here's the thing. It's like we are abandoning ourselves.
Not a Band-Aid.
We're abandoning ourselves and our dream first, just in case it goes south and everyone abandons us.
It's this weird sideways twisted form of abandonment fear that we end up creating as a reality because we abandon everybody else, including ourselves, before we can possibly get abandoned.
So see how ridiculous it is? So let's just stop it.
Just quit. Just
stop it. Okay, so this can show up as any type of sadness in our life. Because a lot of people that are experiencing imposter syndrome may be like, I'm not depressed. I'm just fine. I just can't get my stuff together. But it can show up in a range of what depression might look like for you. It can show up as any type of kind of sadness, melancholy, restlessness, a hidden anger towards ourselves for being a failure.
Or sometimes towards those people that made us feel like a failure way back when we were little kids riding our bike and we forgot our training wheels and fell down.
There's a story there, I'm sure. So, and feeling like a failure, not even trying, or on the extreme and just depression when you can't leave the house, right? So
I'm so happy.
I'm gonna get David a Prozac after this live. So anyway, or a barbiturate. So I'm not sure which. So
before we continue, before we keep going, and we've got a little bit more here to go, we want to know, what was your greatest takeaway from this video? Let us know how this video literally changed your life in the comments. Okay? I know it's a big ask, but I told you in the beginning, we want to help you, and I'm willing to give you something. So it's time for you to give us something. Give us your greatest takeaway, your biggest life-changing moment.
I do like him. He's kind of fun, right?
I'm your biggest life-changing moment?
You're my biggest life-changing moment.
Oh, you're pretty awesome.
So we got a bonus tip for you guys.
Now it's time for that bonus tip.
Here's the good news. Imposter syndrome is not an actual disorder, even though it feels like it sometimes.
It is just a pattern of behavior.
The big reveal of our magical method, which is abracadabra, it's kind of a play on words, you'll see, will happen on our free webinar that's coming up on imposter syndrome. Stay to the end. We're going to reveal how you get on the list
and
in a few.
The other good news with that is that because it's a pattern of behavior, you can change behaviors. You can change your patterns. You can change your habits. So imposter syndrome is really just a habit. When you break it down, and we've worked with a lot of people over the years, when you break it down, it's a habit.
So in our next lesson, we are going to talk more about how to overcome imposter syndrome. We're going to go a little bit deeper into understanding the source of the imposter, because you can't pull the root out unless you can find the root, right? How your mind works on imposter syndrome. Here's your mind on
imposter, as well as some tools to overcome the programs to crush imposter syndrome. And the next step is going to be to join the webinar. Get on the list for our free webinar, The Secret Weapon to Crush Imposter Syndrome. We're going to be introducing a proven method to break the pattern, rewire the brain, and step into your confidence on that webinar.
So it's kind of a synopsis of how we work with clients to help break them out of that self-doubt and start trusting yourself. So it's something we've used for 11 years, and we've kind of finally put it into a system that it's easily understandable. Because, with all the people we've worked with, there's a vast array of people with a lot of different characteristics, but we've kind of created a way that kind of breaks it down for everybody.
We've seen the commonalities, and we've seen the ways that the mind works, and it's common across the board. So we've created systems to crack the code, to break the program, and then to rewire it. And we're going to be sharing those on that webinar. Now it's time for your questions. Drop any questions that you have in the comments. If we don't get to them live, we will answer them on the replay. And while we wait for those to come in, we want to share what one of our Zen heads recently shared with us about their experience.
We love this because we like to shout out back at you guys when you shout at us. So it's fun for us.
Yes,
it's really
shout at us.
We want to shout out to one of our Zen heads, Natasha, who said her experience was Mythbusters of spirituality. I'm going to have that tattooed.
Wow.
That was so fun.
Just wow. So she says, I am so grateful to have found you two. It is rare to find like-minded individuals who make sense to you on this journey of self-growth and discovery. I love that you two are like the Mythbusters of spirituality.
I love that.
I'm going to say it again.
That's so gangster.
Mythbusters of spirituality, and are so dedicated to helping others. You have helped me so very much in more areas than I can count. Thank you for doing this work.
That is why we do what we do, guys, is like to hear that response from you guys. That's it. We keep going when we hear stuff like that. So let's look for some questions we got. Denise over here on Facebook says, what physical symptoms have you seen? If you can clarify that, that would really help.
Yes.
Understanding what you mean by physical symptoms.
And then Nancy says, Heather, I'm like you, except for the warrior part. Can you teach me that? Yes, go through Zen Ed Academy.
She's in Zen Ed Academy.
I know. I know. The self-love blueprint is going to be amazing for you to get in there and kind of own more of that warrior, because you know more of who you are.
I know you have that in you. I see it.
I live that. Yes.
You're more that than you realize. I mean, that might be a little imposter syndrome coming up. Like, I'm not the warrior, but I think I see you. I think you do have that. But for me, to be honest, it's something I had to grow into. Like, realizing, that feels more authentic for me to own the warrior within myself.
And Chelsea says, David just out on Fremont doing soliloquies.
Pretty much.
That's how I live. That's what I do. I'll do it without even getting changed.
If we ever can't pay our bills, I'll give him a G-string and take him down there myself. So,
watching and listening to you two changes my thoughts about myself. Thank you.
Yes.
Absolutely. Then we've got Mary Ellen says, OMG, someone in a writer's group tried to convince me that writer's block was an actual medical condition that needed a medical diagnosis code. Bullshit. We all know that.
That's
bullshit.
Sort of ridiculous. Writer's block, I think, to me, creative blocks and writer's blocks come when you're having imposter syndrome. Because for me, it hasn't really ever been a thing. Maybe because my brain's going too fast to realize, that's naive part of me. I don't know. But I think writer's block, that can totally be related to imposter syndrome.
Writer's block is more importantly related to the procrastination. Okay, so writer's block is a form of procrastination, because your mind is so scared of getting something wrong or putting yourself out there that is protecting you so well by locking you down from ideas.
Yep. Marilyn
says, where's the link to the webinar? It is in the description, and I put it in the comments. So
Marilyn, I love what you say, Marilyn. Fear is a shapeshifter. It certainly is. And you are changing the shape of that fear, and it just hides and it shows up in different ways. Like, I have writer's block. I can't do it because I have, I got to go out and do something to get my writer's block gone. But when you could really just dive into it, or I can't go out in public because I feel some kind of way. Yeah. So we do all sorts of things to shape shift our fear to protect ourselves instead of just jumping in and engaging in life and not having fear. And I think when we're present, and we talk about being present all the time in the spiritual community, when we're just fully present in the moment, and that means you're engaged with who you're with in the moment. Tolstoy said, the most important person is the person you are with right now. And if you're alone, that's yourself. If you're with someone else, give them your full experience and attention without thinking, what about this and what about that? Then you stay in the moment. And that's kind of a simple shortcut to take a breath and be where you are.
So we got a couple of really good questions here. Denise says, she goes into expand. She says, during anxiety, depression cycle from behaviors, etc., have you seen what major physical symptoms can come from it? Not sure if that's clear. I'm also not quite sure if that's clear, but I think I'm kind of grabbing on to what you're laying down.
Ulcers, stomach issues seem to be really common. Headaches.
And here's why. In the mind, it's going to start constricting and start holding you back from moving forward, or constricting you from feeling these emotions or feeling these feelings that are really just trying to get out. So what happens is your body literally starts to constrict. So it'll constrict around organs and muscles and tissues and all of these things. And then over time, that will continue to create physical symptoms. So you may experience tension in your shoulders. That's a really, really big one. Headaches. Headaches are also very common. Anything that causes your body to shut down in a way so that you don't have to go out and do these things and put yourself out there and kind of face these fears and experience whatever it is that the trigger is, or whatever it is that is causing the fear or making your brain afraid or mind afraid. It's going to show you those symptoms by locking you down.
Well, simply it's going to show up as any kind of stress-related disorder or stress-related symptoms. So that's kind of like across the board. You're experiencing stress, and we all know that your body is a physiological response to stress, even if it's very subtle. So it's going to constrict your body. It's going to upset your stomach. It's going to constrict your spine, which sends signals into your digestive system and your all your systems, and like keep the body functioning. So when that gets restricted, your body can't function as well. So kids, do your yoga, de-stress, and know that you're the real thing.
And work on your shit. Yeah, and know that you're the real thing. Casey says, and I'm going to say Casey. I'm wondering if it's Casey.
She said Daisy. She already did. I saw.
Like Daisy?
It's Casey like Daisy.
Sweet, I got it right. Okay, so Casey, I've been feeling kind of disconnected recently from like everything. And when I try to meditate again, it just doesn't feel the same. I don't have the same quiet I had before. Any tips? So meditation is designed to bridge the gap between your subconscious mind and your conscious mind, your chill out zone, okay? But in order for that to stabilize, it's going to bring up a lot of things that are going to throw you off of your center and kind of unstill your quiet. It's going to mess with your quiet. That is gold. Because those things that are coming up, those things that are throwing you off of your quiet are exactly the things to work on. So as you work on more of these things over time, you build up longer states of that quiet that you're talking about, longer states of that reflection period, and less of the chaos. So the chaos, the monkey mind, the part that throws you out, that is a natural part of working on your stuff and meditation itself.
Yeah, so meditation can go in cycles. You can have periods of the monkey mind where stuff is getting shaken up because you reach a certain elevation where you feel really good, but the spiritual high is going to last this long. And then your mind is going to go, oh, we found some more stuff to work on, so let's throw it out so you can think about it. And the monkey mind is actually okay in periods when you're doing your meditation, because it's kind of like, you've shaken the tree. Let's see what falls out and what you don't need anymore. So that's okay.
And the monkey mind, even if you've been meditating for a long time, the monkey mind can come in, especially in the beginning. And that's just like you're recycling, kind of purging the basket, purging the recycling bin. Okay. And then you get faster to the still points and the places in between where it just kind of chills out.
You are, okay, let's get sciencey. You are a biocomputer bag of water and electricity. And so when it's time for an upgrade, all of this stuff is working. It's like this massively brilliant computer that like there's systems operating you don't even know. And so they're like, oh, here we go, time for an upgrade.
And the greatest news and the best way to approach it is realizing that your mind is already working as designed. There's nothing wrong with you. You are not broken. You are simply working as designed. Your mind has designed itself to protect you from what it believes is a threat. So that's where the monkey mind can come from as well. Is your mind going, no, we can't chill out because remember what happened last time that everybody thought we were crazy and they all laughed at us and we got, this big opening and nobody understood it. All of those things are your mind protecting you. Same thing with imposter syndrome, same thing with procrastination, same thing with perfectionism, with social anxiety. All of these things are your mind literally protecting you.
So I have two kinds of meditation that I do when I do my yoga. I kind of have
just looks at my face and no.
She's not at all.
It's all about me.
Arrogant.
I'm not egocentric. It is about me.
So yeah, but I do love this man, just in case you didn't know. So for me, I meditate on the treadmill, and that's my monkey mind time. I'm just meditating, I'm running, and I'm thinking, and it's just going. And for me, that feels like a really good meditation because to meditate means to ponder and think.
So it's just letting your mind think.
So the word meditation doesn't mean quiet still. It literally means to think and ponder. So it's not necessarily a quiet space. You cannot not literally not think. So my treadmill time is my time to run and to think and get ideas and ponder and create strategies. But I just kind of let it come up. When I'm doing yoga, I have a little bit of a quiet time where I'm with the movement, I'm with the breath, and my shavasana where I'm just kind of like emptying it out. But honestly, I can do that for a few minutes and I'm like, oh, I'm good to go. I feel to go. I'm ready to go. So anything can be a meditation.
Yep. Coming from walking to driving a car to just letting your mind wander in any way, shape, or form. That's meditation.
So
Julie says,
which is a little bit down. Julie says it. Headaches and eczema for me. So skin stuff, like you freak out, you break out, you get hives. That is also can be
physical symptoms. Chelsea also says my anxiety shows as vomiting or sometimes upset tummy or head issues.
But let's all help Denise out. And if you guys have any other stress related things that show up physically for you, drop them in the comments.
So we've learned that self-growth and developing your intuition for a badass life go together like sushi and Sapporo.
And sake. Sorry, I got to add that in there. So you could keep going around in circles watching all those people doing the cookie cutter stuff that everybody else is doing. Or you could jump into our brains, which we love it when you do, when you show up.
Jump into our brains, please.
Not this metaphor. Don't try to literally do it. And plug directly into the kind of unique shortcut mind hacks, signature mind hacks.
They are not kind of unique.
The kind of emotional ninja skills that we've developed.
Kind of. You're playing imposter right now.
I'm playing.
So these are definite unique shortcuts, definite signature mind hacks, and definite emotional ninja skills that have worked for thousands of our clients to step into their confidence, self-love, and personal power so that they can trust themselves to live their purpose completely. And Casey says, thanks, guys. Off topic, David is the Capricorn, right? Yes.
He's a half-breed. David is a Sag Cap. He's born on December 25th. He's on the Capricorn Sagittarius cusp. I'm born on June 21st. I'm on the Gemini Cancer cusp, which is why sometimes we're like, ding, ding, ding.
Yep. So now it's time to share that secret weapon to take your confidence from basic to badass in 90 seconds.
Because 90 seconds is all it takes to make that decision. So what are you going to do? Keep doing it the slow way, like we said, or join us on the bullet train. Get on the bullet train.
Either way is wonderful because we really do think that you are awesome the way you are. We, like I said before, we don't believe that anybody is broken. We believe that you are working as designed. You may have some programs you need to change or some upgrades you need to do, but we think you're awesome. So what do you need to do to get on the list that we were talking about before? Click the link in the description, sign up for the webinar, and in seconds, you'll be on that list to join us as we break down our signature, unique, proven method for crushing imposter syndrome.
So I want
get on the list.
Nancy put something in. Nancy asked Heather, what keeps you grounded? And I'm going to tell you,
Thanks, Chelsea.
Chelsea answered for me. I'm guessing shackles and ankle weights. Yeah, Gemini, Cancer, you're like all sorts of, like I said, for me, staying grounded is being in the moment and being present with what I'm doing. Because when my mind starts to drift, because I have one of those minds that's like ding, 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 ding all the time, is just to stay grounded in the moment and be with who I'm with in the moment, which is you guys. It's like, I'm here with you. I'm with Susan, I'm Mary Ellen and Daisy Casey and Michelle. And I feel like I'm in Romper Room. Hello. But if you're old enough to have seen that show, raise your hand. But that's it. It's like staying in the present with who you're with. Who you are with, I believe, is the most important person in the world in the moment. So,
and the most important thing is whatever it is that you're doing right now.
If you're thinking about the past or you're in the future with you're in
out of the most important thing,
and you're out of alignment with the moment. And that, I think, is the easiest, fastest way. If you feel yourself feeling anxious, take a deep breath, be in the moment. What are you doing right now? Be in it.
And a good technique when you get stressed out or when you're feeling anxiety or even when you're feeling like an imposter is to take a deep breath and focus on your 5 senses. If you can go through your 5 senses in the now moment, it does a really wonderful thing to your mind to bring you back and reset to this moment right here and now. What are you seeing? What are you hearing? What are you feeling, tasting, touching, all of those senses? And within literally a minute tops, you're back in the moment.
And remember that you're standing on a big giant rock, so you have no excuse not to be grounded.
Crystals.
You're on the earth. We all like hold their crystals, get grounded. I'm like, wait a minute, can we just think about this? We're standing on the biggest rock or on the earth. We're on a giant rock. You should never not be grounded.
The real question here is, do we wear crystals or do crystals wear us? So if you liked this video,
hit the like button.
Hit that like button, smash on it. And if this video helped you in any way, I'm sure that you've got a friend who could also benefit. Share it with them.
If you guys have any questions, leave them in the comments. We would love to hear from you.
For more badass life tips,
be sure to subscribe.
And click the bell to turn notifications on.
So you are the first to know
when we drop a new video.
Or go live.
And we know that time is a valuable and precious resource. And the fact that you are spending that not only with us, but most importantly, with you leveling up your skills, we honor and appreciate that. And we give you kudos for improving your life by watching this video. Thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next video.
See you in the next video.